Starbucks used to stand as a symbol of global cool, almost like an unofficial embassy of American culture. But today, if you walk into a café in Italy, that Americano you once knew isn't called that anymore. Now it's Freedom Brew. In France, they simply call it black water. No joke. This isn't clever marketing, it's backlash. Something bigger is brewing beneath the surface. People aren't just rethinking American influence or U.S. products, they're questioning what America has long represented. Freedom, innovation, even quality. So is this just symbolic pettiness? Or are we witnessing a real global shift, where American influence and its products are quietly being pushed aside? A famous cafe chain in Milan stopped using the name Americano altogether. Now it's called Aquacura Blackwater. This isn't a joke, it's a message. The co-owner, Luca Ferrara, told Corriere della Sera that they no longer want customers to associate taste with America. And this isn't isolated. In cities like Seoul, Bangkok, and Paris, American-named drinks, dishes, and fast food items are being renamed with local or neutral terms. This is more than a passing cultural trend. It's a clear sign of rising resistance to American symbols, especially among Gen Z. According to the 2024 Pew Global Attitude Survey, U.S. favorability among young adults in G20 countries has fallen to just 43%, down from 62% a decade ago. As American soft power weakens, even something as simple as coffee reflects how the world now views the U.S. Have you subscribed yet? Don't miss our next upload. Thanks, and let's keep going. But it's not just about menus. A broader consumer backlash is building. In 2024, U.S. consumer goods exports dropped 11.4% to Canada and 12.6% to the EU, per the U.S. Census Bureau. And it's not only numbers. The change is visible on store shelves. In Berlin, German retailer Rui cut shelf space for Kellogg's and Kraft Heinz by 40%, replacing them with local brands. The cause? Supply disruptions and falling trust. In Canada, grocery giant Loblaw started stocking more European cheeses and condiments instead of American ones, saying shoppers now prefer non-U.S. options. A spokesperson told the Globe and Mail these changes aren't always political but operational. American suppliers have become less reliable due to delays, currency shifts, and trade uncertainty linked to Washington's foreign policies. The result? A new mindset in supply chains. America is no longer the first choice. It's a red flag. Trump's tariffs from 2018 to 2020 and their partial return in 2025 were meant to support workers but ended up causing lasting harm. When aluminum and steel tariffs were reinstated on the EU in early 2025, Germany's economic minister Robert Habeck called them outdated and damaging to Western unity. The EU retaliated by reviving old tariffs on Harley-Davidson and Levi's. Bloomberg reported U.S. exports to the EU in tariff-affected sectors fell by $6.4 billion in the first quarter of 2025 compared to the same period last year. A European roundtable survey found 72% of European executives reconsidered their U.S. supplier relationships because of frequent policy swings. The damage wasn't just financial, it was reputational. Allies started questioning whether U.S. trade policy is driven by economics or ideology. And when your allies begin treating you like a rival, the impact goes deeper than any tax. In 2024, the hashtag #BoycottUSA trended across 18 countries. It wasn't government bans sparking this, but ordinary people. In South Africa, labor unions called for canceling U.S. defense contracts after Washington criticized Pretoria's stance on Ukraine. In India, American fast food chains like Burger King saw a 22% drop in foot traffic after nationalist groups ran online campaigns against foreign food brands. Meanwhile, in Turkey, the Confederation of Turkish Trade Unions urged citizens in March 2025 to stop using U.S. apps following drone sales to Greece. These aren't coordinated diplomatic moves, they're grassroots economic pushback. What's worrying is how quickly this resistance becomes entrenched. Once consumers switch to alternative brands or platforms, American companies often find it tough to win them back. So, is this just a short-term backlash or a deeper change in global brand loyalty? Tesla's share in the global EV market dropped sharply from 14% in 2022 to just 8.5% by early 2025, according to Bloomberg and AFP. In China, the world's largest EV market, Tesla sales fell 26% year over year by March 2025. The Chinese government excluded Tesla from subsidy programs while heavily supporting local brands like BYD and NIO, which now together hold over 35% of the market. But this is more than policy. It's perception. State media in China often portray Tesla as a symbol of Western dominance. In Germany, the powerful IG Metall union protested working conditions at Tesla's Berlin gigafactory, reinforcing views of exploitative American labor practices. Even in countries that once embraced Tesla, like Australia and Norway, customer satisfaction is slipping. Critics point to concerns about invasive software and growing geopolitical tensions. Elon Musk may have made electric vehicles desirable, but today, when suspicion of American brands is high, that desire now carries a different tone. In Brazil, Mercado Libre removed over 800 U.S. products from top search results in 2025, favoring local and Chinese alternatives, according to Reuters. In India, Meesho's new AI algorithm deprioritized American electronics by default in search. Leaked documents revealed political pressure and shipping uncertainties as reasons. In South Korea, Kang's Q4 2024 vendor update showed a 31% cut in shelf space for American food and cosmetic brands, mostly replaced by Asian suppliers. This shift isn't about ideology. It's being driven by algorithms. U.S. products, once the automatic go-to worldwide, are now being flagged as risky because of tariffs, legal hurdles, and uncertain compliance rules. Shopify's March 2025 Global Trends report shows U.S. merchants faced a 19% drop in international checkout conversions due to rising regulatory challenges across borders. The impact isn't loud protests, but quiet disappearance. When algorithms bury your products, consumers simply stop seeing them, and without even realizing it, stop buying. Take Coca-Cola. They quietly removed Made in USA labels from products sold in several African countries after sales fell 12% in Nigeria and 9% in Kenya from early 2024 to early 2025. Meanwhile, McDonald's rebranded 47 Middle Eastern franchises under local ownership following a 37% revenue drop after backlash linked to the Gaza conflict. Some brands try to distance themselves from their American roots, like Nike, operating in Iran through lookalike partners, or Meta softening its U.S. image in Vietnam. But the damage is deep. Edelman's 2025 Trust Barometer shows global trust in U.S. brands has dropped to just 41%, the lowest since 2002. As Harvard's Benjamin Edelman wrote recently, once trust breaks, rebranding is an uphill battle. Consumers aren't just reacting to brand names anymore, they're responding to what those brands represent. Their national ties, supply chains, labor practices, and foreign policies. You can change the store's name, but if the barcode leads back to the U.S., the product might as well carry a warning. Global consumer activism has moved beyond protests into buying habits, and the numbers back it up. Nielsen reported a 16% drop in U.S. packaged goods sales across Southeast Asia in February 2025 compared to the previous year. In France, Carrefour replaced 120 U.S. brands with local or EU alternatives after customer pressure. And in Latin America, nearly half of respondents in a Reuters Ipsos poll said they deliberately avoided U.S. brands in the last year. This isn't an organized boycott. It's a slow, steady erosion. Shoppers today are influenced by political headlines, international tensions, and corporate behavior, not just price tags. For example, a viral TikTok campaign in Colombia urged consumers to skip American baby products after reports surfaced that Washington opposed local health laws. That campaign worked. Johnson & Johnson's baby care sales dropped 19% in the region that quarter. The battleground has shifted from street protests to shopping carts. This quiet resistance spreads through algorithms, emotions, and impulse decisions. What used to be a mark of pride, made in America, is now a risk factor in some regions. A 2025 report by the International Chamber of Commerce found 62% of importers in Africa and Southeast Asia flagged U.S. goods as higher risk due to export restrictions, unpredictable tariffs, and IP laws. In Egypt, $15 million worth of U.S. medical devices were delayed over licensing tied to dual-use technology rules. Vietnamese textile exporters are avoiding American machinery after $22 million in shipments got frozen due to trade origin disputes. Even Japan's Ministry of Economy warns that sourcing from the U.S. now requires sanctions-level contingency planning. Even U.S. allies are cautious. While a senior UAE official admits American products are still high quality, the political risks are growing faster than product value. Handle with care is the new label for Made in America. What happens when this quiet rejection leads to financial distancing? When the same retailers and governments dropping American goods also start scaling back their use of the US dollar? Because if a brand can lose trust, from jeans to ketchup, a currency can too. This is already happening. China and Saudi Arabia have begun settling oil trades without the US dollar. BRICS countries are testing their own international payment systems, and Brazil's central bank recently cut its US dollar reserves to the lowest since 2008, according to the IMF. If the world stops buying American goods, will it eventually stop buying America itself? This isn't just a trade shift, it's a global tremor. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out the next video now playing on your screen. Stay tuned for more hot updates from Legit Geo News. Catch you next time!